So today we're going to be talking about the 7 factors of a typical millionaire. And this was taken straight out of the book, The Millionaire Next Door. If you haven't read The Millionaire Next Door, it's one of the best personal finance books out there. But they did a study of a bunch of different millionaires and they found that 7 factors all these millionaires had in common. The first one is they lived below their means. Now, if you don't know how to live below your means, or you don't know what that means is you spend less than you make. And this is extremely important if you want to become a millionaire because you want to focus on growing the gap. Now, what's the gap? The gap is the difference between your income and your expenses. And the bigger that gap is between the income and expenses, the more wealth that you can build. So you want to grow that gap. And you can do this between 2 ways. You can increase your income over time, or you can reduce your expenses. Now, over time, you can only reduce so much expenses. So increasing your income is the thing that you definitely want to focus on. So how do you grow that gap? Practically, what you do is you want to focus on the big 3 expenses. So the big 3 expenses, if you want to reduce your expenses, are your housing, your food, and your transportation. This is where the majority of people spend their money. So reducing your expenses in those 3 areas will make the biggest impact. It's not cutting out lattes. It's not foregoing avocado toast. It's making sure that you control those big 3 expenses. The next one is to cut out things that don't bring you value in your budget. If you're spending money on things that you don't care about or don't bring you value, then cut those things out. Because being able to cut those things out allows you to spend more money on things that you actually do value. An example of this would be if you go out to eat every single day with your coworkers and you really don't value doing that, cut that habit out because you can save $100, $200, $300 per week just by cutting that habit out. And then what you get to do is you get to spend that excess money on things that you actually do value. So learning to do this all the time is incredibly important. The next thing that you need to do is increase your income at your day job or start a side hustle because increasing your income over time is how you build a tremendous amount of wealth. So make sure you're focusing on increasing your income over time. The second one is they focus their time, energy, and money in ways conducive to making more money. What does this mean? This means they're focusing their time on things that actually matter so that they can earn more dollars. So for example, when you're at work, actually work. This allows you to get more promotions. This allows you to do better at work. And in addition, it's a lot easier to beat out your competition if you actually work at work because most people don't work at work. In addition, invest your dollars in education and invest your time in education. So read finance books, read investing books, read business books, read books that are within your career so that you can advance in your career because the more knowledge that you have, the more you're going to grow over time. Another way to focus your time on things that make you money is focus on building additional income streams. So you could do things like buy real estate or focus on learning how to buy stocks. All of this is incredibly important so that you can increase your income over time and use your time for things that produce more cash. And then the last thing to understand is understand how to budget your time when you're trying to focus your time on specific things. So one way that I love to do this is with time blocking, meaning you block out each hour of the day towards things that actually matter to you. Because once you start tracking your time, then you can figure out exactly where you need to allocate that time so that you can do the most profitable task. The third thing is millionaires believe financial independence is much more important than status. Now, this is incredibly important to understand because to become wealthy, you have to put your financial independence above status. This means you're gonna have to forego certain purchases so that you can invest more dollars. Maybe you forego the luxury car so that you just have a modest car and invest those extra dollars over time. Why? Because you understand that investing extra dollars over time means that you can reach financial independence and have freedom over your life that much faster. So this is incredibly important to understand because you can afford anything, you just can't afford everything. And that is how you have to live your life. And social status is the enemy of wealth building. Keeping up with the Joneses is the enemy of wealth building. So focus on different ways that you can achieve FIRE if financial independence is your big thing that you want to pursue so that you can focus your time on that instead of worrying about frivolous purchases that really don't matter in the long run. Number 4, their parents didn't provide economic outpatient care. Now, what does this mean? Studies show that the more parents help their children financially, the less likely those children are to actually become successful financially. Now, there's a bunch of outliers for this, absolutely. And if your parents helped you with your student loans or getting through college, that's absolutely fine. But what this is talking about, what the book found, was that people who actually got help with things like simple bills, maybe paying their bills or their rent, or people who got help paying for additional luxury items that they did not need, those children did not do as well as as people who actually earned it on their own. So generally speaking, the rule of thumb here is the more dollars that children are given, the less dollars they will accumulate over time. Number 5, this goes hand in hand with number 4, but number 5 is that their adult children are economically self-sufficient. So what this means is millionaires aren't shelling out a bunch of additional dollars to their adult children. Instead, they're able to utilize those dollars for their retirement so that they can grow their wealth. And over time, this is going to be extremely beneficial because as you age and over time, as you get older, you want those extra dollars so that you can buy more income producing assets so those assets can grow over time. Now, there's nothing wrong with giving things to your children. There's nothing wrong with giving money to your children. But if you're at retirement age and you still aren't able to retire, think through where your dollars are going, because a lot of times people put their children's college fund or something like that first instead of their retirement first. There's no loans for retirement. There is loans for college. Always make sure you take care of your retirement first before your children's college. Number 6, they are proficient in taking advantage of market opportunities. So when opportunity starts knocking, millionaires take advantage of it. Now, this can happen a number of different ways. You can think of this, for example, in the Great Recession. When the Great Recession happened, a lot of millionaires started to buy up a lot of real estate. Why? Because it was on sale. You can think of the greatest investor of all time, Warren Buffett, started buying up stocks and businesses and struggling companies who had good financials. The reason why is everybody else was fearfully selling, and he knew that the economy was going to bounce back. This is incredibly important to understand because when opportunity arises and investments are on sale, you need to take advantage of those opportunities. Number 7, they chose the right occupation. Now, this is incredibly important because as I've talked about, increasing your income over time is incredibly important. So if you're in a job where you can't increase your income significantly over time, it is much harder to build wealth. Now, can you build wealth on a lower salary? Absolutely. There have been countless examples of millionaires who have done this. You can read the book, The Millionaire Teacher, and it's a teacher who started with a entry-level teacher salary who built $1 million net worth in less than 15 years. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can definitely do this by being frugal and utilizing and investing those dollars over time. But the majority of millionaires picked occupations where they can increase their income over time or leverage their connections so that they can buy income producing assets. So your occupation choice really matters when it comes to becoming a millionaire. Listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well. And if you like this video, here are 2 more videos that I know you're gonna love. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to smash that like button. We'll see you guys in the next video.